Welcome all to week 5. Ignore the typo on week 4. So, how many? Let me see. Okay, so 2 of you could attend Ram sir's lecture live, right? So, how did you find? How was the experience? We are very few people, just 8 people, and I think out of those 8, I'm on 2 devices, so just 6 people. So, we can have this session in interactive mode. You can please, yeah, Srinanda, you can unmute and speak. I mean, just share your experience. How was it?
Uh, it was pretty good. I think the first session, it was a little overwhelming. I think too much to cover.
Okay.
Most of my questions were answered. I'm so happy that so many of my questions were picked. And I will definitely have more questions going forward. So I'm sure, Professor would be available in future sessions as well.
Maybe. Yeah, but don't worry, the TAs are also good. The current TAs are also good.
Of course, which is why I make sure I come here every time. So, yeah.
Oh, I'm not the official TA, by the way. Yeah, I'm not the official TA. Yeah, the
So it
official
was
TA
a
is
little inconvenient because today is office hours, so it was middle of office, so yeah, it was a
right.
little. But this was the first time, so I thought I should be
And I
joining it.
suppose it happens on YouTube live.
Yes,
So
and I
yeah.
think around 30 people were there, so I don't know if they're here today, but yeah, around 30 people joined. So
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Okay, good to hear that you had good experience in today's live session. So we will also begin. So this week was all about diagnostic analysis. So I'm hoping that today I will have less questions, maybe less doubts, because sir has already interacted with you all, and I mean, yeah, you heard it from the expert's mouth. So yeah, my expertise is nowhere near sir's expertise. So yeah, I try my
yeah, we
best.
just
So,
kind of briefly discussed on process, but the rest were not really touched. So
yeah. By the way, he had I mean, yeah, I interacted with him, so he suggested that we shouldn't be directly discussing the previous week's assignment questions. So he said, okay, encourage them to discuss in discussion forum, try to solve each other's doubts, and if nothing is working out, then maybe between after a couple of weeks we can take up the doubt topics here. So yeah, that's one message I wanted to convey. I'm sure he wouldn't have said this during the live session, because it doesn't look nice on YouTube, because I believe the live session happens on YouTube. It doesn't look nice to say such things during YouTube live. But yeah, that's the message, that please don't try to discuss the questions directly. First, try to discuss among yourselves. Let the official TAs step in, because I'm not aware if there are any typos or any mistakes in the correct answer conveyed. So I'm not the right person to discuss all these things with me. So if you have such doubts, like you feel option A is correct answer, but it was marked as option C as correct answer, then such things I would encourage you to take up in discussion forums, so that the official TAs who are directly in touch with NPTEL folks, they'll be able to help you out there. Yeah, because I'm not part of official NPTEL team. Okay, this thing is entirely different than the actual run of the course. Yeah, so I can convey this to official TAs, because we all are in the same department, in the same institute, so that's the advantage we have here. But yeah, mostly in other cases, the people who are like me, who are taking the live sessions, will not have any connection with the what you can say, the official NPTEL TA teams. Okay, so we are unofficially taking advantage of the connection I have with the TAs, which Ramsar is not liking. So he said, okay, give them some time. You should be discussing that in discussion forums, and then if TAs are not able to answer, then maybe we can take it up here, because there are too many queries for TAs to answer, so they might also miss couple of queries, and or mistake the couple of queries as your responses to LXTs and LXIs. So okay, coming back to the lectures, as usual we will be discussing what happened in the lectures, and then taking up the assignment questions. So this time's numerical questions are around correlation matrix and Spearman's correlation coefficient, Spearman's ranking coefficient, and Pearson's correlation coefficient. So all those things, those are basically formula based. So this time I will not be solving with you guys the numericals, but I'll be discussing the formulas and how to use that formulas so you can yourself apply that formulas and get the answers. Okay, so only for numericals there will not be discussion, but it will be learning by doing. But for rest of the questions we'll be having nice discussions, because we have very less people today. It is just 9 people in this meet, so for rest of the questions we will be discussing to our fullest. But for numericals I'll be sharing the formulas, I'll be telling you how to approach the questions, and then the calculations you will be doing, I won't be doing, you will be telling me the answers to the calculations. Okay, because for past 2-3 weeks we have been doing it together, we have been doing all the calculations also together, but now I want to transfer that thing to you so that in the exam you are able to tackle such problems by yourself. Okay, because our aim is to increase the passing percentage of NPTEL courses, and only such similar questions will be there in your exams as well, right? So in this week diagnostic analysis was discussed. So you remember this diagram from week 1 first lecture, right? So it all starts from descriptive analysis, which has the bar charts and graphs and dashboards. Yeah, so we had discussed this in detail in last week also, that how, which graphs to use, when to use, and for what data to use. So all these things are part of descriptive analysis. Now this week we have come to diagnostic analysis. Yeah, so what is diagnostic analysis? We will be diagnosing a problem, we'll try to find the cause of a particular problem which is happening with our data or with our students. So it gives answer to us that why a particular thing is happening, right? So if there are students whose marks and attendance are two variables you are recording, yeah, marks and attendance. So when you plot a diagram, you notice with the scatter plot, you notice students' marks are increasing with attendance. As students' attendance is increasing, their marks, their score is also increasing. So that means marks and attendance have some kind of correlation. Yeah. So one important statement in statistics that I would like to iterate here: correlation doesn't mean causation, or correlation and causation are two different things, one doesn't mean the other. Okay, so we will be calculating the correlation coefficient, but correlation, that means these two variables have some kind of correlation, doesn't mean that one variable is causing the other variable. Say again, we will take up the same example to understand this statement. We notice that students whose attendance is low have low marks, right? So that means students who have 100% attendance will have 100% marks. Is that true? Is that the case? Students who is attending every session, every lecture diligently, coming to school every day, will score 100 out of 100 in every subject because he has 100% attendance. That's not the case, right? All of us agree on to this statement. So that means there is a correlation between attendance and marks, but attending a lecture will not cause you to attend 100% marks. Attending all the lecture will not result into scoring 100% in a particular exam. So correlation is different and causation is different. So correlation does not mean causation. Yeah, so keep this is a cardinal rule of statistics, that correlation does not mean causation. Yeah. So what are other different things? Clustering. We all know that K means clustering, and how related databases will be calculating distance between the data points, and points with the shortest distance will be clubbed together in one group or one cluster. So that is clustering. Pattern mining, we will be looking up for similar recurring patterns. Yeah, so in our data. So pattern mining mein will be looking up on the recurring patterns. So mostly it deals with the log data or actions performed by the learners, actions of learners. Yeah, so that gives us pattern in their actions, or pattern in how they are behaving in a classroom or in an online learning environment, OELE. So that in that case pattern mining is used. Now process mining is just like the state transition diagram from state transition, yeah, it is very similar to state process model is very similar to state transition diagram, where we will be again dealing with the actions performed by students, and we would be calculating which action comes after which action. So I think process mining will be covered in next week's content. We will be just dealing with correlation for today's this thing. Yeah, rest of the things will follow next week onwards. Yeah. So correlation, as we have already talked, it indicates the relationship between two variables. It is depicted by a coefficient value called R. It has positive and negative direction. You remember the scatter plots we discussed last week? Then we had discussed this thing, positive correlation, what is the trend, negative correlation, what is the trend. So the same thing applies. Positive correlation is, these are the scatter plot for our data points. Then this is the positive correlation with the graph going in positive direction, and this will be the negative correlation, graph going in downwards direction. And then there are two different correlation coefficients we'll be dealing with. One is Pearson's correlation and then Spearman's rank correlation. So Pearson's will be dealing with the actual data value, actual values, and Spearman's rank correlation is, we will be ranking the data values, data points, and then using the ranks to calculate correlation coefficient. So using this ranks, we will be calculating correlation coefficient. So don't get confused. Pearson's deals with actual data points, and Spearman's rank correlation, as the name suggests, it deals with the ranks in our data set. So these are the important formulas, very simple to understand. This is the Pearson's correlation formula. X bar is the mean value, similarly y bar is the mean value for a particular variable. So there could be multiple variables like marks and attendance, right? So marks could be X and attendance could be Y. So these are the variables. So if we want to break down the process of calculating Pearson's correlation, what we will do is we'll be having some data with us, like this is X, this is Y, like marks and attendance wala XY. Okay, so this will be marks and this will be attendance. There will be some data points 1 2 3 blah 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 till some random value, and there will be 1 2 3 and some value. So step 1 would be calculate the mean. I'm writing it as step 1. You will add these data values, divide by number of data sets n, you will get the mean. So you will calculate mean for both in the first step. Calculate X bar and calculate Y bar. Then what you will do is you will calculate this X minus X bar for each of the row. You can add another column, X minus X bar, and put your values here, X1, X2 and X10 for example. Similarly, for every row you will do this calculation Y minus Y bar in the next steps. So you can add another column, Y minus Y bar, Y1, Y2, Y10. Now you have to multiply and sum. So multiply X1, Y1. So X1, Y1 plus X2, Y2 plus X3, Y3 till X10, Y10. Now similarly, you have to square this value, add, because summation is like, square this value and then add that value, summate that value. Again square this value, what is X1, X2, that value, and then add it. So this X minus X bar is X1, right? So X1 square plus X2 square till x10 square, right, multiplied by ये y1 y2 y3, here I have written no y10, because that will be y minus y bar is y1 y2 y3 and so on. So it will be y1 square plus y2 square till y10 square, and we have to find the square root of this product. Yeah, that will be your denominator for this, and this will be the numerator, x1 y1 x2 y2. Yeah, so the formula is not so complicated, but calculations may take time. It's very simple calculations. You can use calculator, because I think calculators are allowed in NPTEL exams, so you can use calculator if you have registered for exam, and you will need to carry calculator, because such repetitive calculations are better done with calculator. Yeah, so that would be my sincere suggestion. Yeah, so simple hai, you just have to calculate mean first, then add a column where you will be subtracting every data point here with the mean, then you will be squaring that. You have to keep this value also handy, because you have to multiply that with the other variable also, right? Other variable ke liye the same process you have to follow. Calculate the y mean, subtract every data point ka y value, this column value, with the mean, and then square it. So multiplication of this x value and y value, that is data point minus the mean. Yeah, that will be our x minus x bar thing. You have to multiply that with y minus y bar thing, and then add the multiplication. And here you have to square first, then add, and then at the end multiply. Okay, ये value का square, then add it with both the variables ka you have to add, and then find the square root. So it's not, I mean, yeah, you have to mug up the formulae. There is no trick to mug up the formulae, but here one thing is that you have to consider mean in both the cases. Yeah, so that's how you calculate Pearson. So similarly यहाँ पे भी Spearman's so Pearson's correlation is depicted by R and Spearman's by rho. Yeah, the Greek letter rho. So n is number of data points or sample size. Yeah, and D is difference in rank. Difference in ranks of that particular data point. So what we will do is, यहाँ पे we have marks and attendance का table. Marks, attendance. We will try to assign rank to every column. यहाँ पे there will be actual data points. यहाँ पे you can write down rank of a particular data point. Again, actual data point, rank of a particular data point. Yeah, so Spearman's rank correlation we can calculate it for multiple multiple variables, like Pearson's strictly for 2 variables. Spearman's rank correlation, with the help of correlation matrix we can have multiple variables. Yeah, so ye marks in subject 1, similarly we can have marks in subject 2. So yahan same suite will follow. It will have actual data points, and then we will assign rank, like we assign, highest number of marks will get rank 1, then again that thing, the maximum number of days wala attendance will get rank 1, and so on. So we will deal with those ranks. Okay, we have to find the difference between, say for example we are calculating rho for marks 1 in subject 1 and attendance, then we will consider difference in their ranks for every data point, or we will square that and add it, yeah, for respective data points. So suppose for example row 1 में marks का rank 1 है but attendance is at 3 number, so we will calculate 1 minus 3 2 का square, so on. We will add the difference in rank का square for all the data points, and then we'll multiply it by 6 and then divide by n is the total number of sample size. So this is also not that difficult, but it is school level calculation. A small table will be given and you will be asked to calculate Spearman's rank correlation, where you will have to assign a rank to each column, get the difference of ranking, and then come up with this row value. Or that row value goes very well in the matrix form. Like we have three variables like marks, m1 attendance. Sorry, there's no space. Let me erase it. Yeah, so correlation matrix will go like this: 3 by 3. Yeah, m1 attendance m2, m1 attendance m2. So this will be 1. My bad. Wait. So there is very less space, so it's very difficult for me to draw the matrix. Wait. So yeah, m1 attendance m2. Yeah, m1 attendance m2. Yeah, so for example, if our sample size would be 10, then every variable ka uske the same variable, the correlation matrix will be 1, right? So we can write here, and we can calculate attendance with marks 1 ka row value, put that row value as row 1 here, then then marks 2 with attendance, then that will be row 2 here, and then marks 1 and marks 2, again you rank and find the difference square and calculate row, that will be row 3, it will be here. Okay, you got it? So here row 1 will be this calculation row, this calculation for difference in rank of attendance and marks. M1, this is our M1 column, this is our M2 column. So difference between M1 column's rank and M2 column's rank, that will go here as row 1. Similarly, difference between ranks of M2 column and attendance column will be row 2, which will go here, row 2. And row 3 is this, M1 and M2. Difference between ranks of M1 and M2, that will come here as row 3. Okay, so this is also very simple calculations. You have to use the you just have to use the repetitive calculations again and again. Use the table, be mindful, don't make any mistakes, and follow this summation repetitive calculations. Okay, so these formulas, there's nothing to explain. These are the formulas that come out of statistical methods. So I'm not the right person to explain how we came to that formula, because I seriously don't know how we came with to that formula. Yeah, so now we have actually covered what is related or what is needed for this thing, assignments. When the transition diagram wala part comes, we will take up that also, right? So now we will start with the actual questions for previous runs assignment of this week. I believe as every week, many questions will be similar to what will be asked in this runs or this week's assignment currently. So I will encourage you all to try to solve these questions on your own first, and then we'll have a discussion, right? So here column 1 has the different analytics method, and column 2 is the what type of question this answered. So this is, you remember this graph, from inside to outside. So this diagram comes almost after every few weeks, this diagram will come on repeating. So but we have very extensively discussed all this table in week 1. Yeah, so as the word suggests, descriptive analytics, what it will convey? I want answers. Either you unmute and talk or type in the chat box. Okay, this will be interactive, because we have very few people, so let's take advantage of this thing. And okay, I'm getting one direct answer. I will not comment if it is right or wrong now. I'm waiting for someone to be more talking.
Descriptive analysis will describe the data in terms of mean, median, mode, distribution of the data, all the relevant details that can describe the data.
That can describe the data. So what do you think will be out this second column? What is the best question which will be answered by descriptive analytics?
What happened? Descriptive analysis. 1-4.
1-4. Now coming to diagnostic analysis, because this week we saw what diagnostic analysis tries to do.
Why did something happen?
Right. So this will go here. 2. Predictive analytics.
What will happen? 3-1.
That's easy, no? Prescriptive. Bacha hua.
How to make something happen?
Okay. Yeah. So that is question 4. So I had gotten correct answers by all the 3 answers in the chat box are correct. Yeah, A is correct. So this we have discussed so many times. This we have had very extensive discussions in first 2 weeks, 3 weeks repeatedly. Yeah. So this also we had a discussion about this. So even I'm expecting answer to this question also. Okay. So the strength of association between independent variable x and dependent variable y. So it is in very nice words. You know what we discussed in plain English. It is in very nice words they have mentioned. A dependent variable, a independent variable, and if we draw the scatter plot, what we will be getting. That is the question. So I'm very happy I'm getting all the correct answers in the chat box. Okay, so what we get is correlation coefficient. Yeah, we discussed interquartile range and everything in last week's lecture. Yeah, so but that doesn't give us any kind of association or correlation between the variables. The only thing which will give us the correlation is correlation coefficient. Yeah, and we have seen the 2 ways, 2 formulas how to get to the correlation coefficient. Yeah, so this is the question. I'll be giving you some time to solve this. Okay, let me remove my video from the top. Okay, so this is the tabular data. We have attendance percentage and summation of marks in all the 6 subjects of class 9 students. There are 7 students, so our n is 7. Yeah. So we have to calculate Spearman's coefficient also and Pearson's coefficient also, right? So you don't need to calculate it to exact number, but an approximation. Because why? Because look at the options. They are saying that Spearman's coefficient and Pearson's coefficient are different, but their values are same and equal to +1, but they are same but not equal to +1, and they are same and equal to 0. That means we need to calculate Spearman's coefficient and Pearson's coefficient both, and we don't need to calculate to exact decimal point, but an approximation, and we just have to tell them whether it is equal to +1 or not equal to +1 or equal to 0. Okay, so I'll wait for you. I'll just put on the formula thing. Okay, so this was the Pearson's. You remember we have seen in detail how to proceed. Here, first step, then second step. Second step में will be calculating data points minus the mean. Then third step में will be doing this data point minus mean the whole square, and then putting those value in this big formula of R. Yeah, so I'm going to wait for x bar value or mean value for marks and attendance also, both. So please note down this formula, both the formulas. This is difference in the rank. We have discussed this also in detail. That will be independently ranking each data point and then finding out the difference between them. Yeah, so note down this formula as well for row or Spearman's rank correlation. Okay. Now I am going back to the data point. You have noted down the formula. Okay. So these are our data points. So let us assume this to be variable x and this to be variable y. Okay. So please kindly tell me what is the value of x bar and what is the value of y bar. So total is n. So how you will get the sum? Add all these 7 values, divide them by 7. Add all these values divided by 7 will give us y bar. Yeah. So what is the value of x bar? I'm not sitting with calculator today. Yeah, I've gotten x bar ka value as 34 in the chat box. Okay.
What happened? Why can't I come in?
So what is the value of y bar on mean of all sum of marks for 7 subjects? We have to add these values and divide by 7.
It's so
That will
easy.
give us,
It's not easy.
sorry for that disturbance. Yeah, we have gotten y bar value as 250. So now what we will do is, we will simply यहाँ पे we will be doing x minus x bar. Yeah. So x bar is 34. 34 minus 6. Yeah. So 34 minus 6 will be 28. 10 minus 34. Yeah. That will be 24. 18 minus 34. 16. 32 minus 34. 2. 44 minus 34. 10. 56 minus 34. 6 and 6, 12. No, 22. Then 72 minus 34. 6 and 7, 14, 30. Sorry, someone saying something? 38. Yeah, 38. Yeah, so now let us put the negative sign. Negative sign will come in front of this, this and this. Yeah, and now we will write square of this here, x minus x bar square. Yeah, so I will leave this squaring and adding up to it. Here please write the summation, what is the addition, right? Last column. Yeah, so now we will move on to this thing. Yeah, y minus y bar and y minus y bar square. Yeah, so 250. So again 54 minus 250, that will be 196 minus 196, right? Yeah, 250 minus 82 will be 150, 160, 168 minus 168. 250 minus 132, sorry, 138. 2 and 12. 112. Okay, minus 112. This will be 14. Minus 14. Yeah. This will be 2, 320 minus this thing, 70. 70, right? Yeah. Then 404 minus 250. 154. Okay, great. 516 minus 250 be 250, 266, right? 266. Okay. Now we'll be doing square. Do summation, write it here, square, write it here, summation here, square here, and put it in the formula. Formula, what does formula say? Suppose this value is A, this value is B, this is C and this is D. Then what does formula say? We have to do A into B divided by square root of C into D. Yeah, that's our formula for R. Okay, now coming to ranking. Yeah, so either you can go from ascending order to descending order ranking or descending order to ascending order ranking. So what we will do is we will do descending order ranking. So highest number is 72, we'll give them rank 1. After that 56, we'll give them rank 2. Then 44 rank 3, rank 4, 5, 6 and 7. Yeah. Now coming here on this side, this is the highest number, so rank 1. Here also it is already sorted in descending order, right? So that will be 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. So what is D for attendance and sum? Rank minus rank. Yeah, rank minus rank. So it is 7 minus 7, difference is 0. Yeah. So what was the formula? Even I don't have a formula like by heart. 6 into summation of D square divided by 1 minus 6 into summation of D square divided by n into n square minus 1. 6 into, so we'll have the D square. Inka rank 6 into D square summation n minus n square minus 1 minus whole thing. Yeah, so that's the difference. 7 is everywhere, it is difference is 0. So this whole term will be 0, right? The D value is 0, so that means 1 minus whatever will be 0. So rho will be 1. Yeah, absolutely, Niva. So rho will be 1. This 1 will be as it is coming in the answer. Yeah. So rho will be 1. So we need now, everything depends on the value of R. What is the value of R? I don't have calculator with me, so I'm waiting for, I have given you the formula, so I'm waiting for the R ka value. So whether R is positive or negative. That also will help to, come to a conclusion, whether we want to go with A, B, C or D. So one thing is for sure, we know that rho is 1, so that means option D is definitely not the answer. Yeah, and option C is also not the answer. Why? Because they are saying Spearman's coefficient and Pearson's coefficient are the same but not equal to +1. But here our this value, rho value is +1, so that means C is also not the answer. Yeah. Okay, great. Srinanda has the value for R. She has calculated R to be 1. So that means, and they are not different and they are the same and their value is equal to +1. That is option B. Yeah. Great. So I have not solved this question. You all have solved and given me the correct answer for this question. Okay, so I'm going to give the clap emoji for you. Yeah, I'm gonna do this action for you. Good job. Yeah, so we'll move on to the next question. So next question says, if the correlation coefficient R value is minus 0.5, what would be the indicator in the scatter plot? Yeah, so we have to deduce based on the R value how the scatter plot will look. So this is the negative value, right? 2 observations, R is negative. So slope will be upward or downward? What do you think for negative value? If this is our graph and this is our data, will it look like this with the downward value or will it look like this with the upward? Yeah, so everyone agree this will be looking like this downward value? Yeah, so option A goes out, slope is downward, option D goes out. So we'll now focus and read option B and D. Option B says slope is downward and half the points of scatter plot sit on a straight line. And option C says slope is downward, all of the points sit perfectly on the straight line. So what do you think? Half the points or all the points? What's the difference between r is equal to 1 and r is equal to 0.5? For this, what we will do is we will revisit the formula. What does formula say? So we agree that the best fit will give us whatever the relationship between the mean value is there. So the difference between the mean value is what gives us the r, right? R value. How we calculate r? Pearson's correlation coefficient is we calculate the difference between the mean value and the r value. So ideally the mean value will give us this best fit line. Yeah, whatever is the mean value, if you plot those mean values, this is the line. Best fit line is the indicator for best suited for the mean value. So if, and our formula says it's a difference between mean, so that means half the point will be sitting on the straight line, but half the points will not be on the straight line, this straight line. Some of the points will be away from the straight line. So roughly we can say for r 0.5 or half of the data points will not be on the best fit straight line. Yeah, so the correct option will be option B. Yeah, half the points will be sitting on the straight line. Okay, so shall we move on to next question?
Ma'am, interesting.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Why do you say D is not cannot be right? D, option D.
Option B is not right. Okay.
Yes, why? There is a moderately good fit between the straight line and the points on the scatter plot.
So actually your voice is very feeble. I'm not able to hear you clearly, like very clearly.
Okay.
Yeah, its volume is very low.
Yeah. D says there is a moderately good fit between the straight line and the points on the scatter plot. Moderate because I look at it this way. Moderate because it's less than 0.75.
Yeah, but here the R value given is not 0.75, but it is 0.5, no?
Yeah, less than.
Again, I'm not able to hear you very clearly, so I'm not understanding what we are trying to discuss.
You mean to say half the points, if it is 0.5, half the points of the scatter plot will stick on the straight line.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Because in the formula we consider difference with the data point and the mean, right? That is how we get the R formula. And the best fit line actually is the line for mean, when we calculate the average. And when we try to plot that line, that is the best fit line we get for any scatter plot. So we are just backtracking, building up on the formula. Formula says difference between the mean value, the average value and the data points, right? That deals with so with the R value 0.5, we can say roughly half the data points are not sitting on the best fit line. For R is equal to 1, we can say that's the best case scenario where all the points will be sitting on on the best fit line. Yeah, so so R is 1 is like perfect straight line. Every data point will be on that straight line. But for R is equal to 0.5, half of the points will not be on that best fit. Some of them will be away, like here, not all the points. Some data points in the scatter plot will be not part of that best fit line. Yeah? Okay. Okay, so question 5. Question 5 says a teacher of primary school teaches mathematics and science to students of class 5. She conducted a correlation between the marks scored by students in mathematics and science in midterm examination. Now she found that most of the students who scored higher in mathematics also scored higher in science. जिनको मैथ्स में high marks मिला, the same students scored high in science as well. Hence, she uttered the statement that the scoring of high marks in mathematics has caused the students to score higher in science? Choose the correct inference about the statement from the following options. So she has used word caused. So that means she has established a causal relationship, right? So can you please tell me if it is logical to establish causal relationship between students' mathematics marks and students' science marks?
No.
No? Yeah, right?
No.
We have seen that correlation and causation are two different things. Correlation doesn't mean that it is causation. Okay, so everywhere, if you have to, like, this is the golden rule of statistics, that correlation and causation are two different things. Correlation does not mean causation. So correct answer is option D. Now here we have to find the Spearman's rank correlation coefficient. Yeah, so let us revisit the formula. What was the formula for coefficient correlation? Rho is equal to 1 minus 6 summation of d square divided by n into n square minus 1. One minus 6 summation of di square divided by n into n square minus 1. This will give us value of rho. Yeah. So student ID is something which we will not deal with because that's a roll number. So we have to see correlation between students' maths and physics marks. Yeah, so we have to assign rank first. Okay, so we will assign highest rank to highest scorer, which I can see for maths it is 47. So student ID 3 will have rank 1 for mathematics. Then 43 will have rank 2. Then 35. Then 28. Then 23. Then 17. Then 10. 7. Then 8 and 9. Okay, so we have ranked. Similarly, we will assign the ranks for physics score. Let's find the highest value. Seems to be 49. So 49 ID 6 will get rank 1. Then there is 45 rank 2. Then 33 rank 3. Then 31 rank 4. Then 30 rank 5. 23 rank 6, then 12, then 8, and finally 4. Yeah, so here we will calculate the difference between the ranks. So let us assume that this is x1 and this is x2. So we will do x1 minus x2, and anyways we have to do the square, so it doesn't make any difference if it is a plus value or minus value. So the difference is 2, difference is 2, difference 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0. So now we will do the d square. 4, 4, 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 0, 0. So this type of calculations, even though it seems very scary, but it is not easy. So now I am going to wait. So what is value of n? You tell me, what is the value of small n? Number of data points, which is 9. Yeah. So now you just have to do the summation of this column and put the values in this formula to tell me the value of rho. Yeah, so I will be waiting for the value of rho.
Ma'am, this is 0.9.
Okay, 0. Yeah, same for me, 0.9. Okay, so option C. Yeah, so this was easy, right? It was not that difficult. So don't be scared when such correlation, coefficient calculation things come. Just remember the formula, follow the steps, add the columns to the existing table, and come up with the answer. Yeah, so are you guys now confident that you will be able to solve such kind of questions if comes at all in the exam or in the assignment? It's easy, not that difficult. Yeah, and you know, just for us, for sake of simplicity, the data points are not too many. I mean, it is not 900 students or 9,000 students, it is just 9 students. Okay? So don't be scared. Okay, so now this is the transition based on, you know, state transition diagrams. These questions will be question 7 and 8. So both the questions are easy. We'll try to understand the concepts. Yeah, so this is part of pattern mining. Okay, I'll write it down here. Pattern mining, that means we are trying to extract different patterns in the actions which learners are performing. Okay, so these actions which learners are performing are read, video, quiz, and blah, and so on. Okay, so what we will do is we will try to see how many distinct actions are there. We can see based on the state transition diagram, the distinct actions are read, I'll be calling it as R, then video V, and quiz Q. Yeah, so we will be now seeing transitions. So first mark the occurrences of read, R. Okay, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Yeah, total number of occurrences are 7, and these are not just occurrences, these are total occasions of transition. Transition, that means after read the state is moving on to some other state. So it could be read video, R to V, read to quiz, read to read, and read to quiz. So there are 3 different transitions, and we will have to, so this is the total number of counts. So we will have to read to video. How many times read to video is happening? 1, read to read, read to read, read quiz, read video, 2, read quiz. Yeah, so R to V 2 divided by 7. This will give us the coefficient. Yeah. Yes, Varun, we have to count. You have any specific doubt? Just count question mark. I'm not understanding what you are trying to ask. So it is not count of read, actually, it is count of transitions. Yeah, so once we go to quiz, you will understand. Yeah, so for sake of simplicity, I said we are just trying to get the number of times read has occurred, but it is, we are calculating number of times a state has transitioned from read state to some other state. Yeah, so now that is little confusing, so that's why to simplify that I said we will calculate the number of time read has occurred, but it is actually number of time a transition from read state to any state, R to X, has occurred. So how we will calculate that R to X? We will try to gauge R. So wherever is R and R is going to some other state, that we will try to find. So now similarly next is video. Yeah, so we'll try to get the transitions of V to X, right? V to X from video to any other state. It could be video to video or video to quiz, video to read. Yeah, these are these things, no? V to read, V to quiz, and V to R are possibility, right? Because there are three states. Yeah, so video to video, read to read, read to quiz, then read to video. Yeah, read to quiz, read to read, read to video. So now similarly V का देखेंगे तो V to V, yeah, V to V, there's one state. then V to R is one state which we have depicted here, V to R, then V to quiz. Yeah, similarly now we will see quiz to Q to R. Yeah, sorry, Q to X. So no, we were here na, V का देख रहे थे. So how many times video to other state? 1, 2 video to video, 3 video to quiz, 4 video to read, then video to video and video to read. Yeah, so now let us calculate. This is video to quiz 1, now another video to quiz 2, another video to quiz, video to video, video to read. No, so this is 2. Video to quiz is 2. So sorry, how many times was the V? I did not write. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. 6. And V to Q is 2. So now V to R. Let us look at V to V. Okay, V to V. 1, V to V, 2. Again it is V to R twice. Now V to read. Video to read. Video to read. 1, read quiz, read video, video to read. 2. So this will be by 7 by 7 by 7. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, we did not calculate read to quiz. Yeah. Let's calculate read to quiz. Read to quiz 1. Yeah.
For video it will be divided by 6.
6, yeah.
Oh yeah, yes. Thank you so much. Yeah. Yes. Of course. Sorry. Yeah. So read to quiz 1. Then read to quiz. This is 2, right? Read to quiz. Read to video, read to quiz 3. 3 by 7. Yeah, now read to read. Read to read 1. Read 2. 2. Yeah. So 2 by 7. So now video read quiz. Yeah. Quiz to read, quiz to video and quiz to quiz are 3 possible transitions. So now let's calculate how many times quiz transition is happening. Okay, so now Varun, here your query will be answered. Okay, so this is first transition where quiz to read. Okay,
ma'am, can I try this? Q
yeah,
one.
yes, of course.
Okay, so the main we should find out first is how many Q quizzes are there, right?
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 is the main.
I'm just
that is divided by
circling, okay?
Yeah.
I'll just circle for our understanding.
5.
1, this is 2, this is 3, 4,
4 and 5.
and 5. Okay, so now here the understanding comes. Okay.
Quiz to read is 1. That is
Okay. Yeah, wait. Time, please. Yeah, I want to correct one thing here. Okay. So when I say transition, after quiz is the last state, right?
Yeah.
There is nothing over here. So this we will not be counting. Okay. So we have to be careful. If it is last occurrence, we will not count it. So
I
now,
understand. Last occurrence means like quiz in the last.
so quiz is the last. So we will not count this last occurrence because it is not transitioning to anything. So now tell me, what should I write
It will
here?
be 5. It will be 5 then.
No.
No, if you're saying that remove the quiz at the last, right?
Last wala, remove it then.
So it will be 5 then. Quiz 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 4.
4, no?
Oh, 4.
Yeah,
4.
4. Yeah.
I thought six, okay.
So now tell
4.
me,
So
quiz to read transition.
Quiz to read is 1. Quiz to read, then 2.
Here
and
2.
that's all.
That's all.
Only 2. So 2
2
by 4.
by
half.
4.
Yeah.
So
1
now,
by 2. 0.5. 0.5. Okay.
Quiz to video.
So quiz to video. Quiz to video is 1, 2, and that's it. 2. Again, it's 2 by 4. And quiz to quiz. I don't quiz to quiz.
Is there quiz to quiz?
No, there's no quiz to quiz.
So we'll write it
it's 0. 0.
Yeah. So we have calculated the transition values for every transition. So now we have the values in hand. Let's go to the questions. Yeah. What is happening here? Yeah. So which of the following behavior has highest state transition values? Okay, fine. So we have calculated for everything, read, quiz, everything we have calculated. So tell me which has the highest this thing. This is like 0.5, 0.5. This is 1/3. So 0.33 around all three values, 0.33. All two values 0.5. And here 2 by 7 will be, wait, 2 divided by 7 will give us 0.28. This will also be 0.28, and 3 by 7. So 3 by 7 will be 0.42. So the highest value seems to be 0.5.
0.5.
Quiz to read, quiz to video. Quiz to read, quiz to video, option D. Yeah?
Yes, sir.
Easy. Moving on to question 8. State transition value up to 2 decimal. Read and video.
That's the value. That's a value of what we calculated, right?
Right. So let's go back and see read to read ka value.
0.28. And what is one?
Sorry, V to V. Video to
Read to
video.
read. Video to?
Video. 0.333.
Point, yeah. So point, yeah.
So which will be the answer?
B, option B.
Option B. Yeah, so we did it.
Thank you.
Was it difficult? You understood now how it is to be. It is just
Thanks.
counting and all, everything. Nothing very special about this. Huh? So all these. Yeah? Yes?
I also asked a question. Someone who knows statistics well says and is into, not addition. Is that right?
No.
And 0.28 to 0.29 and 0.5 means to say into 0.5. Is that right, or it is crossed?
No, I am again sorry because your voice is not very clear. No, I am not able to understand what question you are asking. I am so sorry.
Okay. Suppose is, oh no. He says and means into, multiplication. Can you hear me now?
No, I'm still not getting your questions, but I'll just repeat what we did so that your doubt gets solved, okay? So what we are doing here, we are trying to see, because this is a state transition diagram, you know, this diagram is called state transition. What this means is, a reader is in particular state of reading or watching video or attempting a quiz questions. Yeah, so there are 3 different states in which a learner is going to be when he or she is interacting with our system. So what the state transition diagram does is, it will be showing from read state what all possible states a reader can go to. And so that is this number, what all possible states, how many times the transition is happening. For that what we did is we calculated this R to going to any other state, whether read, after read के बाद read भी आ सकता है, or after read there will be video watching or there will be quiz attempting actions also. So what we will do is we will count the number of R to X. So for sake of simplicity, what I suggested, you will calculate how many times this read is occurring in the sequence of actions. Only for those, for the actions which are occurring at the end, like quiz here. Let me mark it in red color. Quiz action. Yeah. So only for last, because there is no transition happening next to this quiz. So we will not be counting this number. This occurrence of quiz into our total number, right? We are just counting 1, 2, 3. So we counted number of reads, which are 7. So 7 times learner's state is changing from read state to something else. So that something else could be read to video watching, read to quiz attempting, or read to read. I'm reading one page and I'm clicking on next page to go and read the next content. So even though the content is changing, even though I'm reading, but that state, the page, the content which I was dealing with, that has changed. So that means we are changing it. Does and mean and? I am again did not get and in which sense you are saying, and you can type. I mean, yeah, when you speak I'm not able to hear it properly, so you can type and we can take up that point in discussion. Yeah. From state read to some other state. Yeah? So we are simply here counting the number of occurrences from read to video and dividing it by the total number of times read has occurred. Yeah, read to something else has occurred, not just read to something else has occurred. So that number we calculated for every state. For quiz we did not consider this last occurrence and noted down the number, and we did find the count of these transitions: read to video, read to quiz, read to read, and we divided that into total number of times read has occurred. So it's a simple calculation. Yeah. So same cheese for same thing we did for video to read, video to quiz, video to video watching, and we calculated that coefficient. Then again same thing we did for quiz to all other occurrences.
I think, ma'am, he wants to say कि the word and is mentioned. So and means we are multiplying the values.
Where, I mean, in this thing,
In this question.
this options. No, actually, this is
Question
simple
7, ma'am,
for
in
read to
question
read
7,
and from video to video. Yeah, sorry.
in question 7,
Question 7. Okay.
and between read
Oh,
to quiz
okay.
and read.
Okay.
Does
This
it
action.
mean multiplication or addition?
No. We are considering it separately. Neither multiplying nor adding.
Here, read to read and
So these are two different sequences. Like quiz to read is one sequence, one transition, not sequence, one transition from quiz, attempting quiz
so
state
we
to
are
read.
adding on.
Yeah, so we
are
are
adding on the
considering
value.
different values, like two different values. This is
Yeah.
one transition and this is other transition. So
Okay.
we'll neither be
Thank
adding. Yeah, thanks Srinanda for clarifying. Neither adding nor multiplying. We are considering it separately. Yeah. So Niva has one very interesting question or doubt. In the diagram, there is no transition from quiz. Can someone tell her why there is no transition from quiz in the diagram? For hint, I will bring everything to this page.
Is it because quiz in the last end is it?
No, not really. But quiz, oh, I'm sorry. Where did that go? Yeah.
This is the last entity that we do.
No,
Is it
this is
right,
not the
madam?
last entity. Okay.
Or is it the maximum or something that count the count?
No, not even maximum count. Okay, look carefully. Quiz to read, how many times quiz to read is happening? 2 times. Agreed?
Yes,
Oh,
sir.
yeah, so this transition, quiz to any other state, how many times that is happening? Quiz to any other state. We counted that.
2 times.
No.
No, but quiz to read is the quiz to any other.
Four times.
4 times.
4 times.
4 times.
4 times.
Okay.
4 times. Huh? Now, out of these 4 times, how many times was quiz to read? So let's come here.
2
quiz to
times.
read. 1 time. Let me check yellow color. Quiz to read. 1 time. Quiz to video. Quiz to quiz to read. Yeah. How many times quiz to read? 2 by 4. Over here we have calculated it to be 2 by 4, like quiz to read. Now we will calculate count quiz to video number of times. How many times? So quiz to video 1 time, quiz to video 2 times, quiz read. This is quiz to stop. So this we will not count. There is no transition from quiz state to some other state. Okay, so this we will not be counting. Okay. So how many
I
number
didn't
of
follow this.
2 to 4, 2 by 4.
This?
Yeah, sorry, please.
Ma'am, can you please repeat that? Quiz to stop. I didn't get that.
Okay, so
Okay, you meant the last one.
this one, this. There is no. So
Okay.
what we are doing
Okay.
here is we are calculating quiz to any other state transition. There has to be transition. So there will be 3 types of
Yes, yes.
transition, either quiz to video watching, quiz to reading content, or quiz to attempting quiz, some other quiz attempting, not that one particular
Yeah.
quiz. Okay, so quiz to quiz is also a valid transition. Like read to read is also a valid transition. Video to video is also a valid transition. Yeah, so we will be calculating that transition also. But only thing which we will not be calculating is this last, like quiz. After quiz, what is the transition happening here? After this quiz state, what is the next transition state for learner? Nothing.
Comprehension.
Nothing. Right? There is nothing next. This is the last state. Do you agree with me? So this quiz to anything else is not
Yes.
happening at this occurrence of quiz. So that's why this number of transition this occurrence of quiz will not be counted. Instead, we will be counting quiz to read, quiz to video, and quiz to read. That is 4. So there are quiz to any other state transition. That transition is occurring 4 number of times. That's why 4 comes here. So out of these 4, 2 times was quiz to read, 1 time यहाँ पे quiz to read, and 1 time here quiz to read. Okay? 2 times. So 2 times out of 4 is quiz to read, and quiz to video 1 time, quiz to video 2 times. So 2 times out of 4 is quiz to video. And how many times quiz to quiz is happening? Yeah, you are
There's
right.
no occurrence.
No occurrence.
Zero.
That's why we wrote here 0. So will there be any arrow going for node quiz to node quiz? जैसे यहाँ पे video to video there is a self loop. This is called self loop in state transition diagram. Yeah, video to video there is self loop. Read to read there is self loop. But there should be any loop from quiz to quiz?
No.
Ma'am, quiz to read is also not given. Quiz to video is also not given. The state transition plot. Plot is different from the text that is given.
Okay. We are going to ignore that because I think there could be a bi-directional, like quiz to read भी हो रहा है, read to quiz भी हो रहा है. So this arrow could be bi-directional as well. Even quiz and video
yes,
could
it's
be
actually
bi-directional.
Not visible much there.
Yeah, maybe not visible. It could be bi-directional. It could be something like that. So we're going to ignore. But we are going to focus why there is no self loop for quiz. Because of this 0. There is no transition from quiz to quiz. That's why there is no self loop for quiz. Here in this, there is no self loop. Okay? I hope Niva, this is now, your query is now answered. That why there is no loop from quiz to quiz, no transition from quiz to quiz. Or you wanted to say that no, quiz to video is also not here and quiz to read is also not here. Yeah, so we are going to give benefit of doubt to the question setter who might have forgotten to added a arrow here and a arrow here. So there could be a bi-directional arrow also. Yeah.
But ma'am, in that case, probabilities will be different, na?
How probabilities will be different?
Yeah, like how
Yeah.
will we indicate the
Every arrow will have, now I agree. Yeah, I got your doubt. Yeah, now I agree. You mean, from read to quiz probability will be different, from quiz to read probability will be different. Yes. So in process mining, what happens is, this is a state diagram. In process mining, there will be a different arrow predicting this, and each will have different transition value. Yeah. So I'm not sure from where they have taken this, but yeah, we will give benefit of doubt to them, because we found quiz to read transition also and read to quiz transition also, and we found that they both transition will have different probability values. Yeah. So we are going to ignore the diagram and keep our fundamentals clear and not get confused anymore. Yeah. So you all are right, and that proves that you all have understood this concept very well, since you could point out the mistake which was there in the state transition diagram. So again, I'm going to give you clap reaction. Yeah. So coming to question 9. Okay, so for question 9, there was a data set. I'm not sure if I should be sharing that data set with you, but I'm going to show you where the download. So this was the data set which was to be used in ISAT ISAT tool. So ISAT tool pe there has been a lecture video where it has been a nice demo has been given for ISAT. So this is the data which was given for this assignment questions, and question was use this data in the ISAT tool and answer following questions. Okay, those were the instructions. So this attribute value 1, so primary key value is the roll number value for student. Attribute 1 value is the score of learners in test 1. Attribute value 2 is score of the learner in test 2, and attribute value 3 is score of the learner in test 3. Yeah, so these scores are out of 10. So you will see values between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So have a look at this data. We will be using ISAT to answer these questions. Okay. So let us check the questions first. So all of you remember how the ISAT graphs are generated and all. Yeah. So same thing we'll be doing here. Okay. So what the question is, there are total 18 students who have scored 6 marks in test 1. What percentage of students who scored 6 marks in test 1 have scored 6 marks in test 2, which is attribute 2 value. Okay, so what we will do is we will go to is it here? No, sorry, not here. I don't remember where I was open. Yeah. So this is the ISAT platform. This is the so if you are not able to access ISAT, please search for I'm going to type here in chat box ISAT ET IIT Bombay. Then you will be getting in Google, you use this search keywords, then you will be taken to this particular ISAT web page. Okay, you will be going to ET's website, ET IITB's website. Here on this page you will be landing, and this is the ISAT tool. So you click on no more and you will be taken to that ISAT web page. You will come here. Okay, so ISAT is the short form. The full form is interactive stratified attribute tracking. So what it is, very simple, very easy to use. We will click on stratify your data. Now we have to upload the file. We will use this ISAT wala file, the data which was given with the assignment. So generally such questions will not be asked in the exam, because you will be required to access the internet outside your exam portal. So don't worry, but this tool is very nice. You can use it for your research purposes, to write your research papers, or to pictorially depict the transitions, or the values which require more timely trend wala thing. So in such ways, for that specific use, this tool is very good. Okay, so the question said 18 student had scored 6 marks, which is here. Yeah, yahan pe I'll just click on that, and it is clearly showing me how these 18 students who scored 6 marks have transitioning. Yeah, so we'll again look at the question. The question says 6 marks in 18 students who have scored 6 marks. जिन्होंने 6 marks in test 1 score किया है, how many of them have scored 6 in test 2 as well? Yeah, so let's go 6, यहाँ पे 6, 22%. Yeah, it's very sorry. So it's very easy. Yeah, 6 to 6 we will be seeing 22%. Everything is given, so it's very clear. So the answer is 22. Yeah, you just have to read the graph. Now question 10 is little complicated, so we have to read. So what we will do is, what are the inferences made about the score value of 10 marks? So we are going to assume they are talking about 10 marks in test 1. So यहाँ पे 10 marks is here, second row. 10 marks, number of students 6. Yeah, so we have to keep in mind. Okay, number of students 6. I am going to write in the chat box. Okay, 6 students have scored 10 marks in test 1. Okay. So out of these 6 students, one student test 2 marks we are seeing. One student is there who 3, one student 5, one student 6, one student 7, one student 9. Interestingly, there is none who has scored marks 1, 10 and 2, right? 0 students 1, 10 and 2. So students who have scored 10 in test 1, none of them could score 10. None of them could score 10 in test 2. But were they able to score 10 in test 3? Yes, there was one student who has this second row. Sorry. Yeah. So this is the third, this thing, last purple thing. Yeah. They are saying that 10 students, one student, 17% has scored 10. Yeah. So one student has scored 10 in test 3. Okay. The one who scored 9 marks in test 2. Okay, yeah, there are 2. Yeah, 2 students here. No, test 2 is attribute value 2. Yeah, so one student, not one, but here 9 and 2. So 9 is number of marks, and uske baad followed by that is the count, number of students. How many number of students? So 9 marks, 2 students. So 2 students. So Vinuta, is your doubt clear? You are saying one who scored 9 marks in test 2. So
yes,
no,
yes,
not
it
one,
is
there
now
are 2.
clear. I was getting confused between those two attributes and
Okay.
test
Yeah.
marks.
So now you're clear. You just have to read. I mean, yeah, the first value is number of marks. The second value is count.
Right.
Third is how many, the percentage of students who has scored that many numbers. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, it's very, very
2 students have scored 9. That's little confusing, which column marks and which column number of students. But if you look at the Excel data, where did our data go? We'll come here. Yeah. But if you look at this data, you will know. Yeah, you will know. Now this one student who has transitioned like 6 marks, 6 marks and 5 marks. Sorry?
If we have both these things, next to each other, it is easy to identify.
Right. Yeah. So you just, I mean, yeah, it's like the more you use the tool, the more you understand about the tool, which column goes here, which column goes there. But it is always, but one thing you keep in mind, this is the percentage of student, what percentage, right? And just uske side mein, so there is a less distance between the percentage and the middle value. So that means middle value is count and the percentage is how many students. So that way it is easy to remember. And the first column, the first value is the attribute value wala, that column value from our CSV data. Yeah, so no need to confuse. What comes in the CSV data, our CSV data, if you look at it, it just has marks from test 1, marks from test 2, marks from test 3. Yeah, these are list of the marks.
Yeah.
And what this ISAT graph telling us, that each student, how he has progressed from test 1 to test 2. So what they have done here is they have counted how many students have marks 1. So 4 students have 1 mark. 10 students have 4 students have 1 mark. 6 students have 10 marks. 6 have 2. 6 have 3, and so on. Total our n sample size is 99. Yeah. So here one more trick is, out of these 99, we are now focusing on the ones who have scored 10, which are 6 in number. So here this I'm not sure how to point it out.
Ma'am, actually, does it mean that those students who scored 9 in second test, out of these 2 students, one student has scored 10 test 3 and one has scored 8?
Yes.
In
Yes.
3.
Yes,
That's
absolutely
the way
correct.
to read.
Yes, yes, that is the way to read. So we are now focusing on these 6 students. So out of these 6 students, 3 have scored 1 in test 2, 5 have scored, one has scored 3, I'm sorry, one student has scored 3, one student has scored 5, one has gotten 6, and one has got 7 marks, while 2 students have got 9 marks. Now out of those 2 students, one has gone to attend 10 out of 10 and one has gone to attend 8 out of 10. And that one student who has scored 7 in test 2 has gone down to 6 in test 3. And one who has gotten 6 in test 2 has gotten, so we are now focusing our sample size, we have narrowed it down to 6. We are focusing on only those 6 students who have scored 10 in test 1. Yeah. So here if I click on this 7, that means 13 students who has gotten 7 marks in test 1. We are focusing only on that. Yeah. So now if you want to see, we'll randomly click somewhere. Yeah, 12. Now this is the transition for students who have gotten 12. Yeah, 13.
So how we transporting this data into this ISAT?
So you are just giving your data in the CSV format to this tool, and this tool is doing some calculations in the back end. They are counting and then plotting the graph, and everything is done by the tool. You don't have to worry about it. So it will give you nice visual.
We were not taught that part of importing
how it goes
into the tool.
So you are expected in the learning objective of the this course, you are expected to be able to use this tool. Yeah, because mostly the focus of our course is not to give you the mathematics behind too many things and confuse you, but make you empowered to read. If you are able to read these graphs, then you will be able to use such graphs more effectively for your own research or for your own teaching. So that's the main aim. Yeah. But if you think
they're actually focusing on analysis part.
Yeah, an analysis part. So if you look very carefully, this transition is not very difficult to calculate. Every time we are just focusing on one particular point. Say for example here 16 students who have scored 5, I am focusing only on them. So even though the total sample size is 99, as we progress the sample size 16 is considered, and only those 16 students are considered who have scored 5 in test 1, and then their progress, like in test 2 what was the count and what was their score, in test 3 how these students progressed. So these are the gradual progression graph. Yeah? So now don't confuse too much, it is very simple graph.
Yeah, very simple.
Yeah.
Ma'am, to use it, do you have to click on that 16 on the first? How do you visualize?
Yeah, I just have to click. Now I clicked on 18. Now I'll click on 13. Now I'll click on 12. Now I'll click on 13 again. Yeah, the 9 wala thing, 9 marks. So this transition is changing dynamically. Yeah. So if I click on this 4 students who have scored 1 mark in test 1, this is how they are transitioning in test 2 and test 3. So for teachers it is important, like this tool will give much more better insight about students' performance, that the students who are high scorer or low scorer, say for example these 4 students have gotten 1 mark in test 1, so how they are progressing, whether they are doing better or whether their performance has remained the same. So these 4 students, out of them they have gone to achieve 9 marks also, 6 and 3 also. Yeah, so the student who has gotten 3 marks has performed really well in test 3. He has gotten this 9 marks. Oh, sorry, mistake. So this gives us ulta also, now the reverse performance. Now I clicked here on 9. So 13 students have gotten 9 marks in test 3, and when I clicked on that it gave me the reverse. Here. So it gave me the reverse, like out of those 13 students, how many had scored 9 in test 2 also? Only 1. That person who has scored 9 in test 2 has scored 8 in test 1. So it's, yeah, this graph is both ways, an interactive graph. Yeah. So shall we go back to the questions? Yeah. So now we have seen that in that interactive interface we have seen what happens to students who have scored 10 marks in test 1. So how many, I have written it down in the chat box. So how many? 6 students have scored 10 marks in test 1, attribute 1 only. So A is correct. Now we will read B. No student has scored 10 marks in test 2. Is it true? Yes, it is true. None of the students have scored 10 marks in test 2. And who has who has scored 10 in test 1? So B is also correct. Now C says one student who has scored 3 marks in test 2 and 4 marks in test 3 and 10 marks in test 1. So what we will do is, there is only one who has scored 10 in test 1 and he is transitioning to 3 in test 2 and 4 in test 3. Okay, so let's go back and see. 10. Okay, ulta. Focus on this. 3 1, yeah, 3 in test 2 and this person, like green, sorry, my bad. Yeah, so here you can see 3 in 10 in test 1, 3 in test and 4. So there is only one student who has transitioned 10 to 3 to 4. Yeah, so let's go back to the question. 10 to 3 to 4. So 10 to 3 to 4 is only one student. So yes, that is also correct. Yeah, so 6 students have scored 10 marks on the test. 1, 2 and 3, attribute 3. So is that true? Let's go back to the graph, ISAT graph. So 10 students, there is 0 person who has scored. Out of these 10, there is none of them has scored 10 out of 10 in test 2, but there is one student who has scored 10 out of 10 in test 3. So it is not 10 10 10 in all 3 tests. There is no one. Yeah? So this option D is not correct answer. 6 students definitely not have scored 10 marks in 1, 2 and 3. Yeah, so the correct answers are A, B and C. So don't worry, maximum what questions could be asked on ISAT is, you will be given this graph and you will be asked to interpret it. One graph and you will be asked to interpret the transitions and so on. So don't worry, just try to explore the tool. Questions are very simple and it is just interpretation kind, you just have to interpret the graph. So remember, the percent given at the end is always the count, how many students have gotten. Yeah, and since the number very close to percentage, the middle number is very close to percentage, so that is the count, absolute count. It is the percent and the middle wala is absolute count, and the first column is the value which we are plotting the transition for. In this case it was the test score. Okay, so no confusion. Percent matlab how many students are doing, absolute count very close to that percent value, and the first value is 1 which we are giving to our ISAT tool to plot the transition for. Okay, so on this we are done with week 5 assignment and we are done for the day also. Yeah? Last slide. Okay, so I wish you all the best for this week's assignment. I know it was too much to take, but even if you're confused even now, please, I will advise you to go back to the videos and check the videos once. Sir has explained everything in detail in the videos as well. Or you can revisit our discussions. This will go up on YouTube by tonight or tomorrow morning, and you can refer to that also. Okay, and the same link will be shared on the Swayam platform as well, the YouTube video link. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you for joining. So I'm hoping I can go ahead and end this video and there are no further doubts. Yes, please. You can ask your question. Unmute and ask your question.
No, ma'am, there's no doubt. By mistake, I just pressed that.
Okay.
Thank
No
you.
worries.
Yeah, but I would like to thank you for this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for attending. Yeah, thank you, Vinuta, for wishing us, and you too have a great week, and hopefully see you all in next week's session as well. Yeah, so closing the session for everyone now. Thank you so much for attending. We'll meet next week now.